Imagine if this was London or New York or Paris, is what someone often says whenever a bomb falls on Gaza, Tehran, or Beirut. The world would stop, they say, and collective change could actually happen. But I need you to stop and think about what that sentence is actually doing and what it means. When you say, imagine if this was London, you're not challenging the double standard, you're accepting it. You're telling a Western audience that the destruction of an Arab city only becomes real when they can picture it happening to theirs. You're asking for permission to matter. You're saying, we know our cities aren't enough on their own, so here, let us translate our suffering into something you recognize. Beirut, for example, is one of the oldest cities on earth. People have lived there for over 5,000 years. It survived the Ottoman Empire, the French Mandate, a 15-year civil war, an explosion that destroyed half the city, and now this. Yet you'll often hear people say, oh, Beirut was the Paris of the Middle East, despite it being much older than Paris. And Gaza has been continuously inhabited for longer than most European capitals have even existed. Meanwhile, Tehran is home to 9 million people who go to work, raise children, sit in traffic, argue about football. These places don't need Western translation to have value. They already have names, history, and people. The problem was never that people couldn't imagine it. When 100 targets were hit in Beirut in 10 minutes, killing hundreds of people, people saw the footage. They saw the smoke, they saw the bodies, and they could imagine it perfectly. They just decided it was acceptable because of where it was happening and who it was happening to. That's not a failure of empathy, that's a choice. And every time we say, imagine if this was your city, we let that choice go unnamed. Beirut is not Paris, Gaza is not New York, and Tehran is not London. And they don't need to be. And the fact that this comparison keeps being made, the fact that it feels necessary, tells you everything about which lives the world treats as valuable and which ones it doesn't. So I'm not going to ask you to imagine this is your city. I'm going to ask you something harder. Look at Beirut as Beirut. Look at Gaza as Gaza. And ask yourself, why isn't that enough?